Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to represent myself as a manager of a football club and the European Union. As of lately, I've been watching my players and they haven't been keeping up with the productivity of how I want them to play. They have been lacking the skill and they've also been lacking the chemistry that I need. So what is the alternative that I'm going to look for? I'm going to buy a new player from the transfer market. How am I going to do this? I'm going to the transfer market. So, today I'm going to explain on how I'm going to buy the football player from the transfer market. These are based on three situations. First, I'm going to follow the demands of the parent club. Secondly, I'm going to follow the demand of the player that I'm going to buy. And thirdly, I'm going to look into the rules and regulations that I have to follow to buy the player from the parent club. I'll begin with the demands that will be faced by the parent club. The parent club is the club that owns the player that I wish to buy right now. And there are two situations under which the parent club can be, under which I can buy a player from the parent club. The first situation is when the player has no contract with the parent club. Now, when there is no contract with the parent club, according to the rules and regulations part of the European Commission, I can buy the player according to his salaries and wage demands. I do not have to pay a specific transfer fee, which is recommended. But this is the problem when there's a transfer fee that has to be paid. A transfer fee only has to be paid when there's only a remaining contract with the club. Take an example for a player, Cristiano Ronaldo. Pretty sure everyone's heard of him. Can anyone tell me what's his buyout clause? And buyout clause is basically the transfer fee that you have to pay.
1 billion euros.
Exactly. It's €1 billion. And this isn't a small amount. Usually players don't even go up about 100 million euros. Why is he so expensive? It's basically because of his demand that he has shown towards his club and how skillful he has been throughout the years in which he has been playing for the club. Now I know the demands of the player. Demands of the parent club. Let's move on to the demands of the player. Now the demand of the player is basically all that we have to look into is the salary wages. And I'll take another example. This is the example of Gareth Bale. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of him too. Okay. Gareth Bale is a player in Real Madrid, and he's been signed in 2011 for a very hefty transfer fee. But can you guess his salary wages per week?
30,000?
No, it's not per week, based on euros. No. On a weekly basis, he gets paid 350,000 euros. Yeah. And this isn't really that small of the light of an amount, actually. And this shows us how demanding a player has, the demand of the player is correlated to the wealth, is correlated to the salary of the player. The more demanding the player is, the more correlated is to his salary wages. Now now I've looked into the salary demand and as well as the demand of the parent club. Now let's go to the rules and regulations. The first major rule according to the European Commission is to look into the transfer period. Now the transfer period is a period under which the player can be bought by the club from the parent club. The transfer period can go on from in a yearly basis is usually allocated to 1 month and 2 other months. The 1 month is on January, and the other 2 months are based on May and April. And now that's the transfer period. And statistical analysis has shown that, according to the European Commission's statistical analysis, it's been shown that many of the players have actually been bought during the 2 months of May and April, rather than January, which has been a shorter period for a transfer period. Now, you should look into the second rule and regulation for transfer for within a club, according to the European Commission unit. Now, this is called the redistribution of solidarity of the youth of the player. Now, redistribution of the solidarity of the youth of the player basically means the transfer amount we pay to the club, to the parent club, out of which 5% has to go to the youth squad of the club under which the player has come from. Now, this club may not just be his parent club, it could also be the club under which he had usually began playing for. And now, in conclusion, I've looked into the demands of the parent club, and I've looked into the demands of the players, and I've also looked into the rules and regulations. And now, I've seen the 3 situations that I need to do now, so I can just go buy the player now. So if you see me in the newspaper signing a new player and you see how much he's worth, you now know how I bought it. Thank you.
Thanks. Questions? I don't really know what you're talking about. I mean, I understand because, but you don't define your terms, you don't use sources, you assume that we know more than we do, you assume that we care when you don't relate it to us. Why are you assuming so many things when giving your midterm speech?
I did explain something.
You did? Okay, I'll ask you. When you say parent club, is that ultimately clear immediately to everyone, do you think? Or transfer fee? Or just assume that we're not some people who watch football at all. I mean, I know what they mean, but I'm just asking you. If your audience is not interested in football at all, do you think that you were able to really relate to them if they don't care about football? Sorry?
The parent club meaning, sorry.
It's not just about the parent club. Why should this affect their lives? If they don't care about football, how is this relevant to their everyday lives? Did you make it relevant to their everyday lives? Did you compare the salary of a football player to the salary of CEO, teacher, different parts of the community? No. So how is your speech relevant to the people in class today? I know I'm being harsh, but you have to deal with harsh life situations. When you pick a topic, you pick it according to the audience, not according to what you're interested in. And if it's going to be about what you're interested in, then you have to make them interested in it. How does Ronaldo matter to their everyday lives? Especially that half the class is women and maybe they don't like football. Again, I do. I'm not your typical audience, but still. What about sources? What about numbers and statistics other than from the actual European whatever? And you didn't even give us dates. So you say statistical data from, we don't know what the statistical data is. We don't know what the salaries usually are. You could have shown us tables to tell us this is the minimum, this is the maximum, that's the median. That's how it varies in different clubs across Europe. Because it's different for parts of Spanish clubs than it is for other clubs, for example. Where is that information? Are you basically talking about the Champions League? Are you talking about, I don't know what you're talking about, and that's not good at the end of the speech. Thank you. Okay.